Special Weather Bulletin States and Atlantic Ocean. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our special weather forecast bulletin. The United States and the Atlantic Basin are now entering a period of significant turbulence with multiple extreme weather events occurring simultaneously. Over the U.S. mainland, a major storm system is developing across the central region, expected to unleash severe thunderstorms with damaging winds, large hail, and even the potential for strong tornadoes on a wide scale. At the same time, heavy rainfall is forecast across states stretching from the Great Plains through the Ohio Valley and down into the Gulf Coast over the coming days. This rain will be a double-edged sword, on one hand, bringing much-needed drought relief, but on the other hand, raising the threat of flash flooding, localized inundation, and crop damage. Out over the Atlantic, the tropics have come alive with three active systems, the most notable being Hurricane Gabrielle, which has rapidly intensified into a Category 4 major hurricane and is now closing in on Bermuda. This is a textbook example of peak hurricane season, extremes playing out on both land and sea simultaneously. Let's begin with conditions across the U.S. mainland. A sprawling low-pressure system centered over Colorado is the driver of today's contrasting weather events. Remarkably, this very system is producing completely opposite phenomena across different regions. West of the Rockies, cold air aloft has triggered an unusually early snowfall. In parts of western Denver's suburbs, snow accumulations of 4 to 8 inches, 10 to 20 centimeters, have blanketed the ground, an uncommon sight for September. Locals reported snow falling thickly, while just a few hundred kilometers away, in Kansas and Oklahoma, the skies lit up with frequent lightning and severe thunderstorms. This stark contrast illustrates the sheer power and complexity of the current system, pulling cold air from the high levels while drawing warm, humid air northward from the Gulf of Mexico, setting the stage for dangerous storm outbreaks. Overnight, several central states experienced severe weather. Hail as large as 2 inches, 4 to 5 centimeters, pelted portions of Oklahoma, damaging roofs, vehicles, and crops. In Texas, particularly north of Dallas-Fort Worth, residents endured wind gusts exceeding 50 miles per hour, 80 km per hour, along with torrential downpours. Dozens of tornado warnings were issued across the region, and while no catastrophic damage has yet been confirmed, the threat remains high. The concerning part is that this outbreak is not over. It is expected to intensify later today as the atmosphere becomes more unstable, favoring the development of dangerous supercells, the type of thunderstorms most capable of producing strong tornadoes. According to the Storm Prediction Center, SPC, today's severe risk zone stretches from northern Texas through Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and into southern Kansas. Much of this region is under a slight risk for severe storms, with forecasters hinting that parts of eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas may be upgraded to an enhanced risk. This means conditions are especially favorable for strong tornadoes in that corridor. In the worst-case scenario, isolated supercells could generate EF2, EF3 tornadoes, powerful enough to cause significant structural damage. Large hail is another major concern, with cities like Fort Smith, Rogers, and Fayetteville, Arkansas, facing the possibility of baseball-sized hailstones. Residents are being urged to secure vehicles, protect property, and prepare safe shelters while closely monitoring weather alerts. 3 key ingredients explain why today is so dangerous. First, an influx of warm, humid air from the Gulf of Mexico is loading the atmosphere with instability. Second, a strong jet stream aloft is providing the necessary wind shear to organize storms. Third, a passing trough is aligning these ingredients in both space and time, creating the perfect overlap. When heat, moisture, and upper-level dynamics combine like this, the risk for violent outbreaks skyrockets. This is why meteorologists warn that a September tornado outbreak, though unusual, is entirely possible in the southern plains under today's setup. The threat will evolve eastward through midweek. On Wednesday, the Ohio Valley and parts of the southeast come under fire. States such as Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, and northern Alabama will see strong storms capable of 60 miles per hour, 90–100 km per hour, winds. Large hail, and a few short-lived tornadoes. Cities like Paducah, KY, and Clarksville, TN, are in the zone of concern. While the tornado risk is lower than today, residents are advised to remain vigilant, ensuring emergency alerts are enabled and shelter plans are ready. By Thursday, the focus shifts to the mid-Atlantic. From New York down through Virginia, thunderstorms will bring damaging winds and hail. Pennsylvania and New York may even see a few weak tornadoes if isolated supercells manage to form. Fortunately, this system is expected to move quickly offshore by evening, leaving behind cooler, drier air across the Northeast for the weekend, a brief respite after several volatile days. Rainfall is another major storyline. Over the next 72 hours, widespread totals of 1 to 3 inches, 25 to 75 millimeters, are expected across much of the Midwest and Southeast, with localized amounts up to 6 inches, 150 millimeters, possible in eastern Texas, Arkansas, and Missouri. For drought-stricken areas, this will bring temporary relief, but it also raises the threat of flash flooding, mudslides, and urban inundation. Major cities such as Louisville, Nashville, and Memphis should be prepared for potential street flooding and travel disruptions. Turning now to the Atlantic. The tropics are roaring. Hurricane Gabrielle has undergone rapid intensification, strengthening to a Category 4 monster in just 24 hours. Currently east of Bermuda, it is packing sustained winds near 140 miles per hour, 220 kilometers per hour. Satellite imagery reveals a perfectly symmetrical structure with a well-defined eye, classic traits of a powerful hurricane. Thankfully, current forecasts show Gabrielle curving north-northeast, sparing the U.S. mainland while heading toward the Azores. Still, Bermuda will face strong winds, heavy rains, and dangerous surf over the next 24 to 48 hours. Authorities there have already issued warnings urging residents to remain indoors and prepare emergency supplies. Trailing Gabrielle, another tropical wave in the central Atlantic is under close monitoring by the National Hurricane Center. While its most likely track keeps it away from land, Bermuda must remain alert, as track shifts can occur quickly. More worrisome is a developing disturbance just offshore the U.S. southeast. These near-shore systems are particularly dangerous, as they can rapidly strengthen in the warm waters of the western Atlantic. Should this disturbance consolidate, North and South Carolina, as well as Virginia, could face a tropical storm or even a hurricane threat early next week. Climate drivers are also fueling this surge in activity. The Madden-Julian Oscillation, MJO, a global atmospheric wave, is entering a phase favorable for storm development across the Atlantic. This means that as we progress through late September and into October, the odds of more tropical cyclones forming will rise sharply. Meteorologists stress that this is only the beginning of the season's peak, which historically brings the most impactful storms to the Caribbean and U.S. East Coast. To recap, today's greatest tornado threat lies in Oklahoma and Arkansas. On Wednesday, storms target Kentucky and Tennessee. By Thursday, New York to Virginia faces severe thunderstorms. A calmer, drier spell will follow into the weekend for the Northeast and Midwest. Meanwhile, Category 4 Hurricane Gabrielle is near Bermuda, with 2 other systems behind it, including a potential near-shore development off the southeast U.S. coast early next week. Ladies and gentlemen, the message is clear. The days ahead will be highly volatile, both on land and at sea. Ensure your family has an emergency plan, particularly if you live in high-risk zones. Identify safe shelters, stock up on essential supplies, and stay tuned to updates from the National Weather Service and our broadcasts. If you found this bulletin helpful, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the latest updates. We will also provide live coverage if severe outbreaks escalate, giving you real-time information and safety guidance. Thank you for joining us. Stay safe, stay prepared, and may you and your families remain well during this period of unpredictable weather. We'll see you in the next bulletin.